I think I will start now. So, first things first, I wanted to say the past 2 days I felt like crap, which is why I skipped the streams, and now I'm doubling up on the Sumo Sunday. We're doing Abi's breakdown, as well as we're gonna play the Banzuke prediction game later. And if this is gonna be anything like a Takake shows, then the analysis will probably go a little bit quicker. I have also worked on today top 10 bouts for the Kyushu Basho, so look forward to that later in this week. I posted my schedule for the upcoming week, and I'm trying to work around my work schedule. So the sumo days are going to be on the days where I don't work, and therefore I probably won't be too tired to stream. And the other days where I do work, and I probably will be too tired to stream, I just made them variety streams. And I'm going to try to, continue delivering sumo content that I will continue to post on YouTube. So, like I said, first things first, we're going to do the breakdown for Abi. At this previous tournament, he went 12-3 from the bottom of the Banzuke. He challenged Teruno Fuji at the top, but first we have to ask, how did he get there? His first day was going to be up against Chiyomaru, and these are two men who are very adept at the pusher-thruster style. So let me see now. Alright, my volume is still at about half, so I'm not overpowering myself. So Chiyomaru and Abi, both pusher thrusters. Abi would take the victory here, but let's see how he does it. So I thought it was the dog in the bed, but no one is behind me. Oh, right, we're going to watch it full speed and then go at it. So you can see Abi simply gets the better push off the Tachi-ai, and he has really good pursuit afterwards to keep going after Chiyomaru. So in this short but explosive bout, we could see what goes on straight from the Tachi-ai. Abi gets hands to the face almost immediately, and you could see it right there. Abi gets his hands to the face. Chiyomaru is already being thrown off balance. You can see the distress in his face. Although Chiyomaru does have double inside to try to go for underneath the chin like this, we see Abi, he is already missing with this arm because it's getting pushed off balance, but he's already following up with this arm that's going to go up and push into the face. You can see Chiyomaru has this to block and make this arm miss, while he has hand up in the face as well. So from here, it's just a matter of whoever gets the next good follow-up is going to get the better push, and it's going to be Abi actually not letting his arm slide off, but instead he pushes the heel of his palm into the cheek of Chiyomaru, which lifts him up off of this foot and is now going to be driving him off balance. And that's exactly what happens here through a little bit of the artifacting. Sorry about that. Oh, now my skipping around is making things even worse. Hold on. That's my mistake for trying to skip around a little bit. I accidentally skipped too far backwards. Where am I now? Holy crap. What am I doing? I was just there. Come on. This is scuffed, but that's okay. Alright. Here we go. I knew I should have just hit the right button to go back. Alright. So like I said, Abi gets to the face, pushes the heel of his palm into Chiyomaru's face, which then throws Chiyomaru off balance, as now Abi, like I mentioned, with that left arm going up and underneath, went for the elbow of Chiyomaru, which helps throw Abi off balance, and now, which helps throw Chiyomaru off balance, and now Abi is the one in pursuit, and Chiyomaru has to try to recover from here. Hops backwards, and we can see Abi, he already has that foot planted into the ground, and this knee turned towards his opponent. he's going to be driving forward. He just needs to square his hips, square his shoulders, and then go on the attack. Whereas Chiyomaru, we can see he plants his leg. He has this leg forward as well, and he's getting ready to go on the attack. And it's a matter of whoever's going to be able to square themselves from here. And it is Abi who is first on the attack, immediately jumps to the neck of Chiyomaru, and Chiyomaru puts those hands up and inside to maybe throw Abi off balance again, but Abi with better follow-up, and again, sorry, that's just VLC being VLC. Maybe if I unfull screen it, it might not do that, but who knows. But yeah, we could see Abi goes for, he opts to step in and kind of lets Chiyomaru inside, but from here, Abi still has hands on the chest. It's now his lower body is in an awkward position where he needs to try to recover, but he's still doing those windmills like I was talking about with Takakeisho. He's going 1, 2, 1, 2, right to Chiyomaru's face, and Chiyomaru, that right arm, that's hitting air. That's hitting nothing. So Abi pushes forward on the pursuit. He just keeps moving forward, keeps driving those legs, and drives Chiyomaru up and out of the ring for his first win of the tournament. And there's nothing I can do about VLC doing that artifacting. Day 2. And I have to like look up the Torikumi to see when he goes, because he's always at the bottom, so it's a little variable. So let's see. That is Tsurugisho versus Shohozan. He goes up against Chionokuni in the 4th match of the day.
What Kimarite is that?
That's a little too far. Here we go. Abi versus Chionokuni. Interview with Abi, probably asking him about how he feels being back in the top division after being suspended for so long. You know how it goes. But here we are, Abi versus Chionokuni in the 2nd match of his tournament. Abi with some really good pushes to the face, and Chionokuni simply cannot withstand the attack. So step by step, like I said with Takakeisho, and like so many other times, Abi, he gets both of those arms inside, straight to the face, straight to the chest, and then this is where you see him extend his arms out, and he goes for the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 attack, which is exactly what he wants to do as the Oshizumo wrestler. Pushes up, here it comes, 1, 2. This outside arm kind of misses because Chionokuni slaps Abi in the face, but we can see Chionokuni has that right leg, that right leg back. Abi is the one pushing forward, driving forward, and he gets the follow-up to the throat right here. So that's pretty good attack right there to really throw Chionokuni off balance. And Chionokuni, in the time that Abi goes for the throat and then hits him again, he only has this one arm up and in Abi's face, up on his chest, and Abi is already priming a 3rd attack before Chionokuni can even get a counter attack off. Chionokuni leans to the side, trying to throw Abi off balance, but here, just, in that split second, Abi's arm goes from all the way back here to down here, ready to strike that chest. So that's some speed and power going straight to the rib cage right there for Chionokuni as Abi leans forward, goes for another thrust as Chionokuni tries to throw him off to the side, but this is like last second desperation tactics here because he's already reeling backwards and out of the ring. So that's 2 wins in a row where Abi gets that good initial push, gets good follow-up, and from there, it's just a good and easy win. Day 3, we have Abi versus Shohozan in the 2nd match of the evening. Oh, that's the schedule announcement ceremony. Kaisei versus Wakamoto Haru. Abi versus hometown hero Shohozan on day 3.
Shin Megami Tensei, but I have played Persona games.
Shohozan and Abi about to be underway. Abi, a little slow on the start of the attack, but once again, goes for the face, goes for the chest, and this is actually really unusual. That start to his match is...
Easy push out for him.
I kind of don't know what he's doing with his hands there. Like, he goes for the chest like he normally does. He's driving forward with both of his legs, but then the left hand comes outside, and his right hand, he's fighting with it against Shohozan. Abi does try to do his best to follow up with the left hand again, which he does straight to the face of Shohozan, and this is likely where he wins the match. Because now he's got two hands to the face of Shohozan. Shohozan back, reeling. Abi getting pixelated, looking like Super Mario over there, but just drives forward. And I do want to see that Tachi Eye one more time, because it might be like Shohozan blocking that initial attack. So we could see Shohozan. I see what Shohozan does to try to block Abi is he goes for a slap to the face and then pulls his arm down to keep Abi's left hand outside. Whereas I can't really see what he's doing with his own left arm, but I mean, just this little bit, you can see Shohozan pulls down the elbow right into the wrist of Abi right here. So you have the wrist of Abi being attacked by Shohozan's elbow when he goes and pulls it down right into it. But then Abi, he doesn't really let that affect him. He kind of takes the momentum of his arm being pushed down and he swings it back around up into the face. So kind of the defense lends into Abi's offense here. He pulls it back in and then attacks the face immediately. And then, I mean, there's really not much else you can say about the follow-up. Shohozan, he's on one leg. His back is curved up in a bad position. And all Abi has to do is walk it forward with more thrusts to the face because Shohozan is reeling at that point. And that is just going to be the third win for Abi. So, day 4... he goes up against Kaisei. Let's see. Alright, that's day 5. Day 4, he goes up against Kaisei in one of the earlier matches. This is Aqua versus Shohozan. After this is Dayamami versus Sarano Umi. Then we have Kaisei versus Abi. Oh, I accidentally skipped it. So Kaisei, he's usually a man that wants to, I mean, let me lead in about Kaisei before we actually watch this match. But Kaisei, he's usually a guy that is quite slow in the ring. And it's one of those things where if he grabs the belt, that's where he wants to be. But rarely does he grab the belt in a timely fashion. And even when he does, it's still kind of a toss-up whether or not he'll lose. He is the tallest Rikishi in the top division right now. So he has that going for him, and he does have a very superior weight compared to a lot of other guys, but he's not agile. And, you know, if he gets attacked too hard, then he will fold. So here, let's watch this at full speed. Day 4, Abi versus Kaisei. Kaisei doing what he usually does, driving forward. Kaisei withstanding the attack, using that height and using that weight, but he does eventually get pushed out of the ring. And we can see it again, like Abi, he does what he needs to, and he just keeps driving forward with those legs. And that's something I'm going to keep saying over and over again. We see Abi gets double hands inside to the chest. He's going to use that to push up, create some distance between himself and Kaisei. And Kaisei is never going to be able to mount an attack because he can't grab the belt, which is where he wants to be. So Abi pushing forward. Kaisei actually does manage to get this right leg forward. This right leg forward. He takes a step forward, and he's withstanding the attack. Now, if he used this right arm to push and then tried to follow it with the left arm for some Tsupari himself, then maybe he can mount a good defense. But Abi's attack is just too furious. Like, he Tachi-eyed, he had both hands up to the chest. Still has the right hand in. Left hand goes to grip the wrist of Kaisei to probably try to defend himself against Kaisei's attack, while also pushing, drive. You can see his leg. If he slips here, that's a little dangerous, but you can see the way he's leaning forward. Like, this is one of those places where if Kaisei just takes a step back, Abi just goes plop right down to the ground. But because Kaisei does not move backwards, he wants to try to withstand this attack from Abi and try to counter it. So Abi just keeps pushing forward. You can see he grabs the wrist of Kaisei here, and he still has the hand pushing up at the face. So if Kaisei were to take a step back, then it's even more likely that Abi can just drive this left leg forward and continue pushing. And that's kind of exactly what he does. He takes that step forward, that big step forward with that right hand, with that right foot. He keeps that right hand up in the face of Kaisei, and he does slip on this left hand. So now it's up to Abi to try to get a really good push with this left hand. But you can see the position of his hips and his shoulders. His left shoulder is a bit back, left hip a bit back, and when he eventually moves this left leg forward, he'll be able to drive the hip forward, drive the shoulder forward, and push Kaisei back with all of that force. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. He swings the hips, swings the shoulders, but he doesn't get the legs forward. So he just squares himself against Kaisei, which Kaisei is still withstanding the attack. He's still not getting pushed back as heavily as Abi would like, but Abi still has the right hand up on the throat. He still has Kaisei being pushed up off balance. The left hand is still... I don't really know what it's doing over here. It might, once again, just be neutralizing Kaisei's right hand. He might just know that this is the best position it's going to be in, because if he tries to pull it back, Kaisei could attack the chest too. So it's going for the offensive right thrusts with the the neutral, the defensive left hand, while all he needs to do is drive his legs forward. And that's exactly what you could see him do. He's hopping that right leg forward, and now Kaisei lowers that right arm, which allows Abi to really get that left hand to the rib cage and push even harder. Kaisei drives that left leg back and puts it so that now he is at the side. So you could see his hips are turning, his shoulders are turning into Abi, so this leg can get up against the Tawada and really hold off this attack. He's trying to make it so that Abi has to attack the thin side of Kaisei's body and try to push through the entirety of his body. Because if Kaisei were to stay square, then that just gives this giant box for Abi to just keep thrusting into at the chest, at the face. But if he turns himself, then that really makes it harder for Abi to keep following up. The unfortunate thing for Kaisei is this right hand is still to the face. This left hand is now in the rib cage, so it's hitting the center of that smaller square of mass. And he just never relents on this right hand. He even throws his head into the push as well. He manages to re-square Kaisei, so now, like I just mentioned, we have this big square to attack, and you can see Abi, he already has one hand right in the middle. This other hand is probably going to follow up and attack the chest again if it doesn't just stay to the face and keep him off balance. And at this point, Kaisei, he has to try to do some defensive things at the edge, but we see Abi attacks the chest fully. He pulls up those buoys so he can motorboat them, and he just gets the really good push out. So, good defensive effort by Kaisei there, but Abi knows how to keep his opponent centered and knows how to keep his opponent in front of him so he doesn't miss the mark, which is what we usually see happen to so many other pusher thrusters, Ichi Yamamoto being one of them. He's like Abi, but he's much less refined. And then we also have Taka Keisho, of course, who is a more famous example, the Ozeki, who we already covered in a previous video that you can find on my YouTube. That sometimes they miss the mark, and that's why you'll find them being a little more cautious than usual. But here we see Abi is not missing his mark. He's constantly attacking the exact right position, and that's what keeps getting him these wins. Alright, so we have Kyushu day 5. This is Hire Maegashira. People in chat, if you subscribe. Let's see.
Actually, I could stream from my
First
car
match
using
of
my
day 5 was
hotspot.
Abi versus Aqua. And this is when Leaf joined me.
Princesses.
Okay.
I can do that.
You have to remember to yell hot.
So Abi versus Aqua. Aqua is another man that has a balanced style. I have seen him, do Oshizumo. I have seen him do Yotsuzumo. And at the previous tournament, he put up so many Kakenage that it made whole Shoryu kind of jealous with how well done those throws were. So here, this is one of those kind of mystery opponents. Like, what is Aqua going to do? Is he going to try to, get to the belt and go for a Kakenage? Is he going to try to fight fire with fire in the Oshizumo? It's hard to say.
No, not right now.
So let's see what happens here at full speed. Aqua kind of leans into the attack and does try to fight fire with fire, but he can never really mount an offensive, and he stumbles backwards at the Tawada, and Abi gets his 5th win.
He's pushing.
So what happens here?
You have to remember to yell Hakeoi. No, not right now. When the match starts. Right now.
Abi, he gets a... Hold on, I want to see that Tachi eye again.
I can do that. Hang on.
You have to remember to yell Hakeoi. No, not right now. When the match starts.
Abi, both hands to the shoulders right here. So immediately, he just comes up, both hands to the shoulders. And this is something that I'm starting to notice now, too, is that he keeps his legs back and square in a very wide stance so that he doesn't get moved back. And this is where he wants to start his attack. Like how Takakeisho, on his Tachi-Ai, he would always step forward with the left and then drive forward. Abi, what he's doing is he catches his opponent and then he drives. So he already guarantees that Aqua is going to be at arm's length. You can see Aqua's arms dangling. They're not doing anything from here. And already Abi is at the advantage off the Tachi-Ai because this is now his match. He controls the pace of it.
Right.
Even though Abi does get pushed back and stood up a little bit because Aqua throws that inside left
Now.
and slaps up the... with his right arm, he slaps up Abi's left arm. Abi already follows up with a hand to the face. So his hands are very fast. You can see right here, Abi is saying, nope, you're not allowed to keep pushing forward. And Abi is actually the one to get pushed back off of this Tachi-Ai. His legs still wide, his stance still square. And we can see great follow-up. He lifts his right leg up here to try to drive more power into the left, which you could see, this is like very, very basic stuff when it comes to thrusting. Once again, windmill motion, attack with one hand, attack with the other hand, pull back, attack with one hand again, pull back, attack with both hands this time. Leaf PNG, I know, it's because you know what's going on the screen back there. But this is where Abi, once again, he stabilizes himself. He got pushed back off the Tachi-Ai. He gets the left hand to the face. He gets the right hand to the face. He follows up with another left to the chin, right to the chin. And he has all of the momentum in his favor.
Bro.
And then this is where Aqua takes the step back, and Abi, look at this stance. Look at how forward he's leaning. His entire body planted in this left foot right here is jumping forward. He's pouncing like a tiger, driving forward with that foot. Every single piece of his body is saying, go forward. Even his eyes are pointed forward. Aqua, you can see him pulling back his right arm to try to slap Abi off balance. He's going to try to go for the arms right here, but it's a flaccid attempt at it because Abi drives at that shoulder to prevent the attack. You could even see his hand went down from the face down here to the shoulder, and because all of the force was taken out of that right shoulder, the attack whiffs, and even if it does hit, Abi is already driving so far forward, so hard forward. You can see he took a huge step all the way back here to all the way up here. And that's just a lot of force being generated forward by Abi, who now, hand on the shoulder, opposite shoulder, he leans into it with that right forearm, and that, it generates more power across more space. So, I mean, if this were a PSI test, it would be a little bit evened out, but that is an entire forearm to the neck of another human being. Look at how distressed this man looks. He is under a lot of pressure, under a lot of attack, and now Abi, you can see he's in a position, once again, notice how his feet are pointed. His point is going that way. His hip is going to swing around this way. His foot is going to plant, and he's going to keep driving forward, which is exactly what he wants to do. He squares his hips. He doesn't swing the foot forward as far as I thought he would, but he hops to the side, replants, regains his stance, and once again, you could see wide stance with these legs, generating a lot of force, generating a lot of power. Following up once again with that left hand, throwing Aqua off balance, hitting another windmill attack with the right, and then this is where Aqua stumbles backwards. Abi, you can even see it again. The toe facing to the right. He's going to swing his hip around. He's going to plant his foot somewhere around here and then keep going on the attack. And that's exactly what he did. So Abi, definitely look out for his footwork. And with Oshizumo wrestlers in general, you have to look at where their shoulders are, where their hips are, and how they're going to be moving their body forward and keep driving forward, because that's going to dictate where they direct all that energy. And that goes for, a lot of other things, like basic martial arts and basic combat, or even like in soccer. They always tell you, even in soccer, like, don't look at the eyes of your opponent, don't look at the head. You have to look at the hips, because that tells you which way they're going to go. So always look at where their hips are pointing, or how their feet are pointing even, because that is going to indicate where they're going to be driving next. And Abi, I mean, you can't really react to Abi. He's very fast with his attacks. He's very fast with his follow-up, and making Aqua stumble down out of the ring takes his 5th win. So up next, we have day 6, which is one of the uninterrupted days. So let's see. This is Tippy Top Division.
I don't know.
Here we go. Abi versus Sadano Umi. Gets the Tokuri Nage, which, what the hell is that?
People show up for the top division, not for Joni Dan.
Drifts another.
Abi
Oh,
rocket.
here we go.
Ooh,
You can see, once again, good follow-up by Abi, getting pulled, and then throwing down Sadano Umi by the head in his own pull attempt. And that's something where you might be able to, at first glance, you'll probably say, oh, Sadano Umi overpushed, overcommitted. Let's see what actually happens here. And I kind of hate that the match starts zoomed in like this, so we can't get the full picture. But we do see Abi, once again, both hands up, both hands to the shoulders, both legs wide and driving. Pushes the left hand up from the shoulder to the face to try to get Sadano Umi off balance, and you could already see the right hand back and ready to strike again. But Sadano Umi gets this left hand up inside, and you can see this left hand up inside kind of throws Abi off a little bit, because that knocks the hand back. Sadano Umi uses that left hand inside to knock the hand back from Abi, but he still can't get rid of this left arm. So what does Sadano Umi do? He goes for the pull now. You can see he already has his right bicep and forearm kind of twisted around this arm, but he misses it there. Abi going for, just once again, good windmill motions over and over and over again, but that's where he gets it. Sadano Umi steps to the side, goes for the pull on the arm, and now Abi is in real danger for the first time this tournament. So what does Abi do? He plants his foot, and he's going to swing the hip, or at least try to. So from this position, Sadano Umi is, you would say, he is in a very, very advantageous position here. But we can see Abi plants the foot, turns the hip, and manages to replant this left foot, which he uses to create, good leverage, because look, it's right up against the Tawada right here. He is able to create a little bit more leverage for himself because he has more force driving him forward. This right leg, though, is kind of dangling in the air. He just lifted it up so he can replant it, and it looks like he replanted it a little too far forward because now Sadano Umi, we can't really see what he's doing, but now he is the one on the attack, and because Abi squared himself away, like I mentioned against Kaisei, now Sadano Umi is charging through Abi, and he's going to be pushing Abi all the way back. So how does Abi respond to this? He takes the step back. He actually hops backwards, which is very dangerous in sumo. You never want to leave your feet, but he doesn't actually leave both of his feet. You can kind of see it really quickly right there that his right foot just kind of pop back, while his left foot went from all the way over here to all the way back here. It's like, this dude's got some long legs and he's hopping like a jackrabbit over there. So Abi on the retreat, we could see Sadano Umi is in this precarious position where, like I always say, leaning a little too far forward, and if you step backwards, he's going to fall. So Abi is trying to do that. Abi is trying to take those steps backwards, and we can see with those long legs, he's taking very good strides backwards. He has both hands gripped around the back of the head. No hair pull call to be made here, but we could see both hands gripped around the head, and that is going to be generating the force downward while he's still, pirouetting backwards around the side of the ring. Sadano Umi, he can't regain footing because he's already committed to the charge forward all the way around the ring, and his feet are now behind him. He needs to if he wants to try to regain footing, he needs to get this right foot over and plant it into the ground, but he's never going to be able to do that because he just gets pulled all the way down by his head. Abi replants both of his feet again, and he gets the good win on the defense. I want to watch that full speed again because that was really good.
Pushing forward, Abi with a really strong push, but Sadano Umi recovers, thrown down though.
But
Abi on the
you can even see it better at full speed. Sadano Umi leaning too far forward and lets himself get pulled down, which is something that happens quite a lot, especially in edge cases like that. What's up, White Fang? How are your car accident injuries? Day 7. What's up, Capri? Day 7, we had Abi versus Hokuto Fuji in what would be Abi's first loss of the tournament. So let me pull that up right quick. What do you mean, what? He got into a car accident like weeks ago. See, that's Aqua Kaisei. Looking for Abi Hokuto Fuji. There we go. So now, Hokuto Fuji is one of those guys where at this tournament, though, he had a couple of slow Tachi-ai, but usually he's one to come out like a cannonball. And because he's like a Takakeisho in the sense that he charges forward with his entire body, it's usually difficult for someone like Abi to use just his arms to stand him up and try to get a good push. You're fine? Ah, nice. Yo, when you get that big legal payout and settlement, remember your good buddy Leo. How's the sumo? It's pretty good. We're just going over and analyzing Abi's fights, and then after that, we're going to do some Banzuke guessing game. And if you miss any of it, you can find it on my YouTube channel. There. YouTube. Anyway, stylistically, ordinarily, I would give this to Hokuto Fuji because it's difficult for an Oshizumo wrestler to deal with the full-bodied Oshizumo. Because once again, like arms versus head and shoulders and entire body, it's really difficult to keep up against that.
Doing Benish.
So let's see what happens here at full speed.
Abi down and ready. Hokuto Fuji. Oh, big
Abi gets the false start.
Man, Abi is tall. He's got such long legs. Everyone got up. I had to come and watch when I saw what you were streaming. That's a long time ago. That was a Akebono era, right?
Abi and Hokuto Fuji.
Abi.
Like I said, Abi can't really push Hokuto Fuji back at all, and when he finally does, it's all according to Hokuto Fuji's plan because he's stepping back and doing what Abi just did to Sadano Umi the day before. Leaning too far forward and getting slapped down to the ground. Got some wrestling to look forward to. That sounds exciting. So, like I said in the previous situation, Abi can't really deal with this full head-on push. That and Hokuto Fuji has a really good step to the side that you can kind of see right here. So usually Abi, he likes to stand square and he likes to get both hands to the shoulders. But in this case, this hand never comes up. So he never gets this. And then this hand goes out wide and it's, where is this going? So he doesn't manage to get his hands anywhere useful off of this Tachi Eye because instead of facing him head on, like directly head on, Hokuto Fuji takes this wide step to the side. Like, look at how far away this leg is from even just the white line. Because usually, like, you can see it with Abi, his toe is still kind of lined up with that line, but Hokuto Fuji takes a wide step to the left that really throws off Abi's rhythm, and Hokuto Fuji gets the grip on the belt back here, or at least he tries to. So now, Abi, in a very bad position, tries to create the separation, and lucky for Abi, Hokuto Fuji grabs the Sagari instead of the belt. So now Abi has the chance to kind of recenter himself and, try to do what he usually does where he keeps his body square. You can see he's trying to keep those shoulders square. Those hips are a little off kilter with his shoulders. And then his stance is just as wide as it usually is. It's just as firm as it usually is. But Hokuto Fuji with this grip, like look at that tight grip, even just on the Sagari right here, being able to not let Abi get the full distance that he wants. Because again, Abi wants to keep his man at a full distance, but right now his arm is bent inside and Hokuto Fuji is very uncomfortably close. So Abi, his foot actually slides back here, which, takes some power out of him. And Hokuto Fuji does eventually let go of the Sagari, but now Hokuto Fuji re-squares himself, and now that Abi finally has the position he wants to be in, Hokuto Fuji slaps the arms away, and now Abi, he's not doing that usual windmill motion. He has both of his arms back, and they are not primed for an attack. He does put up his hands again, kind of like a defense mechanism, like, hey, no, don't come any closer. But he didn't get the full-on, like, pull back and boom. He just did kind of a, no, stop, please. Don't come any closer, which that's not going to stop Hokuto Fuji from barrel-assing forward. We can see in this next standstill that Hokuto Fuji gets both of his hands up underneath the arms right here. So Hokuto Fuji, hand on the elbow, his other arm is coming up to meet the elbow, and he's going to throw both of Abi's arms up into the air so he can get inside like he likes to. So here, Abi tries to counter that, gets really low, gets his elbows down so Hokuto Fuji can't lift them up, which is what you would usually see in the Oshi matchup. Get those hands up, away, and be able to generate yourself an advantage. But Abi, instead, he gets low, which is the good idea because now he has a really good line to generate pressure right up into that chest of Hokuto Fuji and drive Hokuto Fuji back and up and stand him up, which is what he wants to do. But Hokuto Fuji is wise. Hokuto Fuji sees, oh, Abi, he's leaning forward. He's doing that thing where if he leans too far forward, he falls down. but he does have this right foot stable. So that is what Abi has going for him. If he can drive back forward into the chest of Hokuto Fuji and keep his footing stable, he'll be fine. So he does start to drive forward, and we can see it coming off the Tawada here, drives forward, plants that left leg, but Hokuto Fuji, very wise to the counter attack, takes the step back, hops backwards, slap to the back of the head, and it is all over for Abi in this loss. So if this match were to teach us anything about Abi, it's that if you want to control him, you can't meet him head on. You have to try to go off to the side like this, which is also another thing that Abi fell to famously against Enho, where he got leg picked by Enho. And that was Enho stepping to the side, grabbing the leg, and just lifting Abi up and out of the ring. Hokuto Fuji kind of does the same thing here, where he steps to the side and controls the match from there. And if everybody else wanted to get a good eye on Abi or wanted to get a good jump on Abi, they would step to one of his sides, not let him square up, and then try to control the match. Hokuto Fuji tried to grab the belt, so if you're a Yotsu guy like Takara Fuji, you'd probably want to make this wide step to the side and try to grab the belt. Or if you're a smaller guy like Ishiura, you'd probably want to get low, or Ura, get low, because Abi, what he does is stand up, go for the shoulders, and then follow up from there. Which Ura, because he's so far back, Abi just goes for his shoulders like that. But we'll get there when we get there. Just announced Nakajima, the Noah champion, will fight Takagi, or whoever is championed by the event in a rare champion versus champion. Oh, that should be exciting. I hope that's a lot of fun for you. Day 8, where Teruno Fuji and Takakeisho got their Kachikoshi. Here we see Abi going up against Hidenoume. Once we get there. That is Tamawashi Tobizaru, which you can see in my top 10.
What's that picture on the wall?
Let's see. Oh, I was closer when I was Yu Takayama. Kotonowaka. Alright, it's after this match. Abi versus Hidenoume. Hidenoume actually performing well this tournament. He is more of a Yotsu kind of guy. Hidenoume is not someone I usually pay attention to, which is kind of a disservice to him. But let's see how he does against Abi. Abi does what he usually does, going for the throat, going for the neck, and well, the only reason why it's called a Yorikiri is because he was grabbing the belt at the time of the push out. So let's watch this at full speed again. Abi does his usual thing. Stands up, go for the shoulders, go for the neck, pushing forward, driving forward. He doesn't have the usual standard windmill follow-up attack. He just keeps the hand to the neck and has the better push forward. So Abi, in usual style, both hands to the face. Do I even have to draw it out? Hidenoume tries to counter it with, both of these hands down low. Might try to pull them up to keep Abi away from his face. And that's kind of what he does. He gets the hand up on the shoulder, or up on the elbow, but he has no control. Abi is in full control at this point. And Hidenoume, still trying to recover, puts that right hand inside. It's not doing anything at all. And Abi driving the legs, oh jeez. Excuse me. We have Abi, like I said, driving forward, squaring his hips, squaring his shoulders, squaring his feet. He's pushing forward. Hidenoume trying to get something, trying to get this right hand away from his throat by trying to push up the left elbow, or that right elbow. But it just never happens. Abi keeps his hand in the throat hold, and from there, at this point, Hidenoume finally does make Abi lose the grip on his throat, but Abi can quickly follow up, grab the belt, and just keep driving forward, because at this point, Hidenoume is already off balance. You could see it. His shoulders are not even. His shoulders are like this. His hips are driving that way. His feet are kind of off kilter here too. Everything is pointing this way. And that is not a good position to be in. So when he does finally recover, Abi grabs the belt and drives him out of the ring pretty easily. I do apologize for all of the pixelation. 2 Mexican birthday parties? Uh-oh. Don't get too fat, my man. We just had Pizza Hut tonight. Unless you're trying to look like one of these guys. These sumo wrestlers. Moving on to day 9. Day 9 is where we have Abi go up against Chiyo Tairyu. Oh, look at that. Skipped perfectly to the point. So Chiyo Tairyu is another big man, kind of like Chiyomaru, where he goes for pushing thrusting attack, the Oshizumo. Behind the pack at the top of the division. It's kind of funny because it's him, Mitake Yu. Cake frosting. Hey, deadlift is just a fantastic full body exercise. If you want to build your traps, deadlift. If you want to build your shoulders, deadlift. Your back, deadlift. Your buns, deadlift. Your thighs, deadlift. He's performing very well. Deadlifting is just a fantastic full body exercise. Abi going straight for the throat, slapping down Chiyo. Abi does that thing again where he steps backwards and lets his opponent fall. What about calves? It doesn't really work the calves. And this is something I was told by a weightlifter. The only way to get really nice calves is to be morbidly obese, because then you're walking around with like 300-pound weights on your body all the time. And that's how you build up good calves. Anyway, back to the match. This is a really quick one. There isn't too much to break down here. It's Abi does his usual Tachi-ai. And while he has control, he pulls down Chiyo Tairyu by the neck. Chiyo Tairyu getting pushed back. And then getting his hands slapped down to the side. And Abi, usually Abi is the one to push forward, so it is unusual that he was the one to walk backwards here, but that's also probably part of the strategy. If someone knows you're going to go forward and then you go backwards, that's weird. That's not a part of the call. That's kind of like a henka, except it's not really a henka, but you know what I mean. Abi pushes forward, slaps Chiyo Tairyu's hands down, and then slaps Chiyo Tairyu down by stepping backwards, which is, in every single one of the matches so far, Abi has not stepped backwards willingly until, after he already pushed forward. Against Sadano Umi, he stepped backwards after driving forward. Against Hokuto Fuji, he was driven backwards. So in this match, going up against Chiyo Tairyu, he steps backwards of his own volition and gets the slap down. Just a really simple and easy win. Earning his Kachi Koshi on day 9. A good way to get the Kachi Koshi early. And he's still competing with the Yusho at this point. Moving into day 10, we have Abi versus Tobizaru as he, slowly moves up the Banzuke. He's slowly fighting harder and harder guys, kind of proving that, yeah, he should be fighting these harder and harder guys. Let's see, this is Hokuto Fuji and like one developer. Like, if you play that is pretty far down. We have Abi versus Tobizaru. In the face. Here we go. So Tobizaru is a very interesting character, and he's someone that I want to take a look at sometime in the future. But Tobizaru's matches are mostly quite unusual. He has a very experimental style where he tries to do what his opponent wouldn't want him to do, and a lot of the times it doesn't work out because he doesn't have his own defined style, it seems, because he tries to do something unusual for the win. And he's someone that I want to digest a little bit more, but right now we get to watch him lose to Abi. And how does he do it? Abi squared away, going for a push, gets that right forearm up to the face of Tobizaru, and simply pushes Tobizaru backwards. In a similar fashion we've already seen earlier this tournament. Abi, both hands to the shoulders, but Tobizaru actually gets a really good jump. Abi does not have Tobizaru at that full extension that he likes to have his opponents at, and Tobizaru, he has a really good attack here. But Abi has that really strong left arm to the neck, And Tobizaru kind of stood up. And I mentioned this earlier. Abi has some long legs. Look at how like bent that is. And look at how much power that can drive. Or that can generate compared to how like stood up Tobizaru's legs are. And that means Tobizaru is not generating that much power. Abi is driving forward. He is trying to pump those legs. He's, moving that knee up. He's moving this knee up. Whereas Tobizaru, that back leg is mostly straight, and this front leg is mostly straight as well, just trying to stabilize. So this is where Tobizaru kind of loses it. His base is not solid at all. And Abi, the follow-up attack on the throat, really throws Tobizaru off balance. This is where Abi gets the follow-up, hand to the chest. Tobizaru slaps it down, but this is where Abi pulls up the elbow and gets the forearm to the neck. Tobizaru fights back, but already Abi is mostly in control. He has that forearm down again that he can try to throw forward, but instead he opts for grabbing the face of Tobizaru, throwing it to the side, and Tobizaru, a little wild in his approach, he's on one foot. He has his body turned, Abi ready, squared and ready to attack, and it's really just Abi charging forward for an easy win. So right there was another vulnerable Abi moment where Tobizaru and Hokuto Fuji did the same thing. You get quickly off the jump inside, and Abi's response has to be take a step back if he wants to create the separation he usually wants to get, which is also true for Takakeisho. We saw that in the Takakeisho video, and is mostly true for a lot of Oshizumo guys, which makes you wonder, if all you need to do to beat an Oshizumo guy is charge into them, why don't more people do it? Cue up the Chiyo, the Chiyo Shoma Henka. Or in this case, Abi stepping backwards and getting the slap down against Chiyo Tairyu. This was also the night Takakeisho lost, so now Takakeisho and Abi are at 9 wins going into day 11, where Abi faces off against Uda. Let's see. Oh, it's before this match. So it was before the top of the hour break. Abi versus Uda. So Uda, we all know him. Very unusual style that I think is weak exactly to Abi's style, where Abi wants to just slap the head, slap the shoulders, and Uda kind of gives that up because he keeps himself low, he keeps himself far away, and wants to try to grab the leg or the belt in like a snake-like attack where he just jumps forward. But instead, Abi, Uda already creates the distance for Abi, so Abi just kind of wins off of the back of it. Abi doing exactly what I said he would do, pushing the shoulders and pushing Uda down. You could see, though, that he kind of missed one of those thrusts, but Uda couldn't really mount an attack. It was just kind of doomed for the start, or from the start for Uda. So Uda trying to get really low. Abi, he wants this. He wants Uda to be far away from him so he can get those hands straight to the shoulders like he does right here. Stands up Uda a little bit. Uda trying to fight back, getting thrusts to the chest, but it doesn't really work out. Abi getting double hands to that, that collarbone area, really throwing Uda up and backwards all the way back to the edge, slaps Uda in the side of the head. I didn't even notice that at full speed, but he gets that left hook in to slap Uda in the ear and really throw him off balance. Like at full speed, I did not catch that, even live.
Abi slapping at
Boom.
the head and shoulders and
Slaps Uda in the side of the head, and that's really what got the win there. Throwing him off balance really well.
not really putting up much of a fight there. Abi with the win.
Takakeisho would also win tonight. Both men would be at 11 wins. Up next, on day 12, we have Abi versus Iron Man Tamawashi.
Fix the audio.
Let's see. There we go. The demon.
さあ
Thomas
that he found in his
Owashi.
hands. He does not have
Owashi
It's,
the
pretty funny
sumo
too.
man.
That Abi's been
So Tamawashi,
versus 11
he's another versatile man. I think he prefers
10
Yotsuzumo,
and 2.
but he can, I mean, he's
Throughout the rest of the
an
night,
old
hell, it's
dog
even possible
that doesn't need to
Abi
learn
wins
any
and
new
Terunofuji
new
loses.
tricks
So we
because
have
he did
3
very
Pikachu
well at this tournament. And it's not like Abi had a very easy schedule for himself either. He lost to Hokuto Fuji, and then he had to beat Uda, who was performing very well from a higher rank. He had to beat Tamawashi, who's performing very well from a higher rank. Then he had to beat Takakeisho, who's the Ozeki. Then they put him up against Teruno Fuji, so they really put Abi through the grinder in like the early second half of this tournament. Like, so Abi really deserved his 10 plus wins, honestly, and his shot against the Yokozuna. I'm just going to say that right now. But here we have Abi versus Tamawashi. Stylistically, I think I would favor Abi because generally against an all-arounder, again, Tamawashi is not really the guy like Hokuto Fuji, like Takakeisho, like Mitakayumi that would commit to a full like headbutting charge. So I think in all scenarios where your opponent doesn't charge like a bullet, Abi does have the advantage.
About to be underway.
But let's see what happens here at full speed.
玉鷲と阿ビです。さあどちらがさらに白星を重ねられるんでしょうか。
Abi down and ready. Ready for the jump.
Abi doesn't get what he usually likes to get, but that right forearm almost was enough, and it does throw Tamawashi off balance. So right here, Abi doesn't get those hands to the shoulders like he wants to get. He has that right forearm up in Tamawashi's chest. So he is generating a little bit of force, but it's not that, you know, full-bodied away that Abi usually likes to have. And from here, Tamawashi is actually able to get that left hand up underneath the armpit and get a really good push for himself, pushing Abi all the way back to the Tawada. But once again, pushing off the Tawada, his left leg all the way back, and you can't see it because my face cam is back there, but he's got that left foot on the Tawada, and this is where he can bounce right off of it and drive forward, and that's exactly what he does. I was too busy paying attention to that left leg. I want to see what happens up with that face too, like up with the arms.
Ready for the jump.
So while Abi is all the way back on the Tawada, both of these hands are like kind of defensive. You can see this. It's kind of hard to see what his left hand is doing, but this right hand, that's going for the face. That left hand, I'm not really sure what it's doing from this angle, but we could see right hand to the neck, right forearm down across the chest, Abi head down as well. And now he drives forward because that right hand to the face and that left hand underneath the armpit, that is what throws Tamawashi off balance. So now Tamawashi, it's once again that situation where his shoulders are not square, his hips are not square, and his feet are stood straight up almost. Like, you know, his right knee is bent a little bit, but this left one is stood straight up. And now Abi, he's attacking someone who is off balance, and he's going to be able to, you know, just get to the side. And even though Tamawashi re-squares himself, this is where Abi wants to be. He's got that left leg forward. He's got a big, like, look at that big right step. Look at how hard he's driving this left leg. He's generating so much power that by the time he actually puts this left foot down, or this right foot down on the ground, he's going to push it back, drive that knee up. His left leg is going to come forward. He's going to be generating so much forward momentum that Tamawashi, even though he's trying to do his best to push these arms up and off to the side, Abi, his follow-up, we've seen it in the previous matches, his follow-up is too damn quick, and he isn't actually able to pull that right hand away. He has that, Tamawashi has the left hand on the arm, but it's not doing anything. He can't generate any power. He's stood up completely. His right foot isn't even on the ground. So he can't generate any power. You might be able to think, you know, oh, just push with the left arm, but a lot of people don't realize that, doing anything is a full-bodied effort, especially in a combat sport where you need all of your strength. Like, I keep breaking down Abi. This left leg, this right leg, generating force, pushing up, pushing forward. This right arm, generating force. Hips square, shoulders. He's throwing his right shoulder into this right arm so he can generate more force that he's, making with all of these muscles in his legs. And that is always going to overcome, just a piddly little slap from Tamawashi. So Tamawashi can't stop this attack, and he gets pushed back to the edge, and, now he finally does square himself and throw the arms to the side, but at this point, it's too little too late. Abi takes another massive step forward. He damn near puts his knee into the thigh of Tamawashi right here, like, ow. Left leg all the way back, generating a lot of power, puts his body down so he can, put his head down, charge forward, head to the chest. Tamawashi stood up, and Tamawashi driven out of the ring.
Charging through Tamawashi, and that is going to be his win. 11-1 for Abi.
So,
Holy
if anything,
cow.
Abi definitely has a mastery of control over his body and an understanding of how much strength he can generate in moving his body. And that's why, he was a forever Komusubi. Over a year ago, he was 8-7, 8-7, 8-7 at Komusubi. And I know that's, before a lot of the time that a lot of my viewers are watching me. But when I started watching sumo, he was Komusubi for 4 tournaments straight. Then he fell to Maegashira 4 in March of 2020. And then in July, that's when he got suspended. So, he was doing fantastic. He was on his way up. I mean, he got 9 and 6s, not 8 and 7s, but no matter, he couldn't really push up into that Sekiwake slot. But yeah, Abi definitely knows his stuff. Day 13, this is the fateful day where we have Takakeisho versus Abi. And look at that, I skip right to the moment. Over a year ago, this would be a usual bout. Abi, former Komusubi, had a good day. Both of these men 11-1. And like I mentioned against Hokuto Fuji, and you might even stand to reason that Abi learned in that Hokuto Fuji matchup, even though Hokuto Fuji went back on the pole. Abi might have learned how to deal with this type of pusher thruster that throws his entire body and his entire head into the attack. So, did Abi learn anything against Hokuto Fuji, who is stylistically very similar to Takakeisho? How does he handle Takakeisho? I don't remember. Even though we just did Takakeisho a couple of days ago. And if you missed that VOD, you can find it on my YouTube. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can watch me live on Twitch. Link in the description below. Abi versus Takakeisho. Abi down and ready. Oh. Abi. Oh, false start. I'm surprised that was a false start at the time, too. Takakeisho. Abi going for the face. Abi doesn't let Takakeisho get all the way in, and he manages to push Takakeisho back. He doesn't let himself get pulled. He stays square, and he gets the win. So, unusually, I think it was very unusual. Here we go. Let's try. Takakeisho doesn't commit as hard to this Tachi-ai. Like, it doesn't look like he charges nearly as hard as he usually does. Either that, or Abi caught him very well, because you can see Abi, his forearm up inside, and you can't really see the left forearm, but I have to imagine it's doing the same. He wants to use these forearms to really cushion himself from the push of Takakeisho and get up inside. And like I said, feet back, feet square. His knees are a little bit bent, but it's, he's got this huge angle leaning forward to resist the push from Takakeisho. And like I mentioned in the Takakeisho video, steps with that left foot forward, hands down and in, trying to generate power inside, but Abi is the one who gets inside. And with that, he keeps Takakeisho at bay. He can't get the full arm length just yet because Takakeisho is still driving. He's got that right foot planted, has that left foot lifted so he can put it back down and drive forward again. But this is very good Oshi versus Oshizumo, where both men kind of stalemate each other right on that first initial push, and it's going to be up to the follow-up to see how it goes. Abi has this right forearm inside still, but we can see Takakeisho probing this left forearm inside, either trying to push Abi's arm away or trying to get to the chest of Abi and try to create some separation for himself in the way that he wants to. But we can see Abi going for the throat. Now he finally gets that full arm. Now we can see that this back arm is craning back so he can go for another strike. And this left inside from Takakeisho does try to go for the push inside when it probably would have been better served to try to attack this arm from Abi. So now, the follow-up from Abi, now that he has that full extension, he's really charging it. He's going to, you can watch right here. He's, instead of swinging his hips square, he's still pushing with that right, and he's trying to generate more power by, you saw him kind of hop his left foot back and drive forward while this foot also continues to drive up and forward. It's kind of an unusual position because his body is, you know, facing that way. He's like kind of facing the gyoji. He's putting all of his power into this right hand right here. That is what he's trying to do. He's putting all of his power into the right hand so he can keep Takakeisho away from him, and so he can generate all of the power he needs. That right knee nearly buckles inside, but he catches himself, this left leg way far back, and if you ask me, this left leg, very stable. This right leg, once again, you can see driving up and forward, and again, look at the legs. Takakeisho's legs, back, straight, not in a good position. Abi, he's coiling himself like a spring, whereas Takakeisho is being stood up. And now Takakeisho goes for the step back, goes for the slap to the side. You can see the hand right here, kind of on the armpit of Abi, but Abi, already wise to this, knows the follow-up attack. You can see right where his foot is pointing. It's pointing at the camera. It's pointing at Takakeisho. His leg, and he swings that outside hip around and recenters himself to charge again. Takakeisho is moving backwards. He can't generate any forward momentum unless he really, because once again, he's moving backwards. His momentum is carrying himself backwards. If he wants to drive forward, he needs to plant this foot and then really push. But because he's moving backwards, Abi sees this. Abi is already moving forward. Abi plants the foot, and it's kind of pointing away from Takakeisho, but this foot, he's going to soon swing it around with these hips, with these shoulders. He's going to swing it, drive it forward, and keep moving forward. And that's exactly where you want to be as a sumo wrestler. You never want to be moving backwards unless you already have the back of the neck of your opponent below your waistline and you're pushing it downwards. Abi immediately charges forward, swings those shoulders, gets both hands to the chest of Takakeisho, and at that point it's already Abi's win. Takakeisho is still inside the ring, and that is going to be, I mean, unless he had some magnificent pirouette at the edge, Abi was always going to win that from that position. A very good win for Abi.
Tomorrow.
Day 14 was an exciter. That was Abi versus Teruno Fuji in the Musubi no Ichiban. And of course, we already know what happens, but it's still exciting to talk about from Abi's perspective because, like I already covered Teruno Fuji and his perspective, which you can find on my YouTube. It's actually one of my most successful videos so far, which means I'm probably going to try to do a weekly post to the sumo subreddit. I don't want them to catch me for spamming. Or maybe I can just talk to the mods and be like, hey, is it okay if I just post everything I do? Because I really like sumo. I don't want to be seen as flooding, but like, there's a drought of sumo content, and if I can bring you water to sip from.
Can win the tournament tonight.
Abi
down,
and
ready?
Terunofuji at full speed.
Going for the
Abi
throw,
gets
pushing back,
everything he
charging
wants in an
forward,
attack.
Terunofuji
He
on
gets
the edge. Is
everything he
going
wants,
out? Oh my God,
but then he
stays in and
opts
Abi
for the
falls.
pullback, the Katasakashi, and he does not get it.
Back Terunofuji can win the
So this is a perfect chance for Abi. This was the
Tournament
perfect
tonight.
Tachi-ai for Abi.
Abi.
Hey, give it a
down
lurk.
and ready.
So Abi, once again, like every single match this tournament, forearms inside, hands to the face. He's going to be driving forward, pushing Terunofuji back, getting that full arm extension, hand to the throat. And we've seen this before. He either, when he has the one hand to the throat, he either keeps it there and twists his body so he can generate all of the power into that. So from this position, he's either going to twist his body back so he can keep driving force pretty much everything into this one point of contact. He just has to actually push these feet forward, you know. Or he's going to keep himself square and follow up with another attack straight to the chest. So what he opts for here is exactly that. He's going to drive forward. He's going to, you can see, he's already swung his hip forward. He has his left arm back, and this left arm is going to just boom right into the face of Terunofuji. Doesn't get the face because Terunofuji takes a step back. So Terunofuji avoids a lot of danger there. But once again, we can see the follow-up from Abi here. He plants this right foot. It's still pointing at his opponent, which in a second, his opponent is going to move slightly. And that is where Abi pivots his foot. So Abi still has his foot on this point. Now it's pointing this way. This back foot square, generating force, pushing down on this so he can move forward like that. He's going to be in pursuit of Terunofuji. Like I said, this toe is pointing this way. He knows Terunofuji is going to be moving this way. And that's how he can so easily follow up. He gets that left foot and left hand to the chest, and he can drive it forward. He can, you know, once again, left hand up here. And you have to ask yourself again, is Abi going to turn his body so he can generate all of the force into this one point of contact? Or is he going to follow up with his right hand again and get another good thrust? And he does go for the follow-up. And this is kind of where Abi gets himself in a bit of danger because he lets Terunofuji grab him around the arm. So now Abi can't get those full-bodied thrusts that he likes to go for. He can't get that windmill anymore. He can't pull back and he can't strike. So now he has to do what he did just a couple of days ago where he got the Yorikiri victory against... shit, I already forgot the man's name because he's so unnotable. Hide no Umi. And he's going to have to try to go up and under Terunofuji to try to push for this win. He doesn't go for the belt, but instead he opts for another push to the face. He does, you know, go for the bear hug move, and this is where Terunofuji, you kind of can't see it from here, but he gets a leg up and, like, in front of the leg of Abi here. So Abi can't really drive that left leg forward anymore. This back... Oh, wrong color. This back right leg is generating all of the force, and he wants to drive this foot just a little bit more forward so he can plant it and then push forward with this foot again. But Terunofuji actually puts his leg up and blocks this from moving any more forward. So now Abi needs to ask himself, does he want to keep trying to push Terunofuji forward where, I mean, honestly, Abi is in a fantastic position, or does he want to try to go for the pulling attack, knowing, and this is something we've seen so many other times in sumo, where if you stand your man up, he's generating as much force as possible to come back into the ring, so he's pushing himself forward, pushing himself down, and that's when you, okay, you want to come down? Let's go down to the ground, and that's what Abi opts for, even though the only pullout he got so far was only on the retreat from all the way across the ring after he was being attacked. In this position, he is the one dictating the motions, and so he really needs to generate a lot of force if he wants to try to pull down Teruno Fuji, which, hold on, let me go back so we don't have that artifacting.
Abi, down and ready.
Going for the throat.
So like I said, Abi needs to generate a lot of force if he wants to get the pull, which he really doesn't. He really does not generate a lot of pulling force. Instead, he hops backwards and lets Teruno Fuji stabilize. Teruno Fuji gets this foot down on the ground, and he's walking this foot forward so he can get it down on the ground. So Abi, in this particular chance to attack, chose the wrong option. He tried to go for a pull, and he's not really pulling anything. You can see the arm from Teruno Fuji. Oh, wrong color again, but you know what I'm doing. You can see the arm from Teruno Fuji, the other arm from Teruno Fuji. Does Abi have his arm around the head? Well, after he pulls away, you see his arm is around Teruno Fuji's arm. So he is not generating a good amount of force to even go for this pull in the first place, and it unfortunately leads to his own downfall, and Abi is the one that loses here. It wasn't a bad idea, I'll give him that, but if he wanted to go for this pull, he would have needed to already have this grip on the arm at the edge of the ring while Teruno Fuji is completely stood up, so he could dictate how Teruno Fuji comes down, or he just needed to keep on pushing. Like, there's no way Abi was going to get this this pull down in the middle of the ring, because he didn't even really go for the pull. Again, we can watch it at full speed. Teruno Fuji hops forward. It's not a pull at that point. Like,
Is he going out? Oh.
Abi hops backwards and Teruno Fuji leans forward. It was way too late to go for the attack. Just that split second too late decision. Now, if Abi had tried to go for the pull while Teruno Fuji was standing straight up, instead of taking that hop back first, because once again, you could see all the way up here, if Abi at this moment says, okay, I'm going for a pull, then he already has that left shoulder up in the armpit. I'm pointing at my friggin' screen like you could see it. He has the left shoulder up in the armpit. He has this left arm around the back of the belt. If he really wanted to, he could grab the back of the belt and then pull his entire body back this way and throw Teruno Fuji that way. That's what I'm saying, Ramar. He probably should have just stayed on the push. But instead, once again, you can see Abi, he gives way too much time. That half of a second, Teruno Fuji puts the leg down. It's too late to go for the pull. At this moment, Abi takes the hop backwards to go for the pull, but he's already lost the grip under the armpit. He's moving his right arm to a more favorable, air quotes, position. He's trying to move the right arm to this shoulder so he can slap it down, when I think, again, it could have just served him better to keep it up in there and then try to go for a pull, but he rotated his body in the complete wrong direction. And I mean, it was just a disaster in that last 1 second for Abi.
Oh my god, he stays in and Abi falls!
Complete disaster for Abi in that 1 second, which is a damn shame. And then, of course, day 15, we have, who did Abi go up against? Abi went up against Takanosho, who was another very strong pusher thruster. And Takanosho was actually up for a special prize. If he wins this match against Abi, Takanosho gets a special prize, which Takanosho we will cover sometime this week because he is a special prize winner. And definitely not because he's my fiance's favorite sumo wrestler. But Abi goes up against the Maegashira 2 on this final day of the tournament. Abi, like I said, he's gone through a real gauntlet. Like, that first week, he fought some pretty well, not as powerful as these guys, type of guys, but I mean, everyone in this top division is here for a reason, even if they are someone like Sho Hozan, who went, like 4-11 or 3-12 or however he finished. But you know what I mean. It's not like Abi had any incredibly weak opponents. He was just fighting below his pay grade that first week. And in the second week, kind of evened it out. He lost against Hokuto Fuji, lost against Teruno Fuji, loses here against Takanosho, who Takanosho had a fantastic tournament himself. So let's see how Abi does it. You can see Abi trying to do what he usually does, but that's exactly what Takanosho likes to do too. So it falls into Takanosho's favor. But like I said, Abi all tournament gets those forearms up to the chest inside. Takanosho leans very far forward with his head. Takanosho does the thing that Abi does not like, where he puts his entire body forward so Abi can't create the distance that he wants. And that's why Takanosho, that's why he's up here. He's similar to Hokuto Fuji in that he charges with the head, similar to Takakeisho in that he charges with the head. Takanosho leans forward, full-bodied, and now Abi can't create the distance that he wants. He does have the hand to the face up here, but Takanosho also has his hands inside, generating force up underneath the armpits. So even though it looks okay for both guys right now, Takanosho is in the driver's seat. Abi about to get a really good slap to the face right here, and he does land it. But Takanosho, he has the counter for it, and he's got that hand up underneath the elbow, which this time he might actually be able to be the one to throw that hand up off of him, because he can generate some force by twisting his shoulder upwards. And that's exactly what he does. Takanosho moves his shoulder up, he's still pushing forward, gets the hand off of him, and he still has the right hand to the chest over here. Abi, seeing this, he does remove his right hand, and he's going to try for those windmill strikes again. He's going to try to pull that right hand back and go for another strike to the face. But Takanosho, he's taken a lot of punishment in his time. He leans forward into it. He's actually blocking Abi from being able to pull back this right arm and locks it with his face. So Takanosho really sacrificing the body there. That's probably why his face is so flat. Because he's blocking a forearm with his face like this. Like, holy cow. But Abi, now, again, he's the one on the pushback. He likes to keep his feet square, and because he does that, sometimes it allows someone like Takanosho to push this right foot forward. This left foot is back. It's pretty straight, That is kind of a weakness there. His left foot is pretty straight, but this right foot is driving forward. And Takanosho using that face, using his left forearm to push back against Abi. Abi trying to, go for something on the edge here, trying to slap Takanosho down and away. But Takanosho, on the follow-up, doesn't let it happen. And once again, sorry for that artifacting.
Ooh, the big slap. You heard it. And Takanosho.
Yeah, Takanosho, I mean, just in this instance, he looked just straight better than Abi.
11 and 4.
And that will end the segment on covering Abi's tournament. He had a pretty good 15 days, well, a very good 15 days. He lost to the Yokozuna in, honestly, what could have been a win. And even in his other losses, like here against Takanosho, if other guys want to take down Abi, you can see the weakness. Hokuto Fuji stepped to the side, tried to grab the belt, couldn't grab the belt, but that step to the side was enough to drive Abi off balance. Takanosho drives his entire body forward, doesn't let Abi really get a good push. Tobizaru, the same thing. Leaned forward, leaned into, charged into that push. Abi couldn't generate the distance, and so off the Tachi-ai, Abi was not in a good position. He recovered against Tobizaru, but couldn't recover against someone like Takanosho. I want to go to streamdetails.com.
Both men are 5 and 9.
How about you just give me all of your viewers right now, Where Fierce?
Thank you for the 100 bits, Safari guy, with the cute little Shiba.
Yes, that was Takanosho's win there, and he is someone that we will cover later in this week, so be sure to look out for that here on my Twitch stream, or a little bit on YouTube. And that is going to be the end of this segment, which I will be uploading later.